Hi. Today I'm going to talk about happiness. All of us want to be happy, right? We all are in the pursuit of happiness. Now, the question is, are you happy? Some of us say yes, some of us say no. Sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are not. Do you agree? Now, when you are looking for happiness, there are some elements we need to be mindful of. So let's kind of deconstruct the whole notion of happiness. So look at the activities which you do to get happiness. There are three main components we need to be mindful of. The first one is pleasure. There are some activities which are pleasurable, like maybe you go and eat ice cream or watch Netflix or binge on your social media. So whenever you do, there is some amount of oxytocin kicks in. But the one problem out of this pleasure oriented happiness is the problem with that pleasure oriented happiness is the more you do, the more you want it. Like maybe you watch a movie and then you're not happy. Like maybe you still want to watch more movies and all that. And another drawback of this pleasure oriented activities is it is a diminishing returns. Maybe if you eat one ice cream, it might give a lot of happiness. But when you eat the second ice cream, you will maybe get a half of that happiness or maybe less, right? Means maybe when you go to third or fourth, it will not be incremental. The happiness keep diminishing. And other thing is they're more bit of a habit forming. So pleasure oriented activities becomes like a habit. Like you also want to eat more ice creams and all, but something like even all those recreational drugs and all that, they just start with a pleasure. Then after sometimes they become addictive also, like binge watching Netflix or social media, all that are part of this. So the pleasure seeking activities have a components of habit forming and also diminishing returns. These are the two disadvantage. Nothing wrong about it, but that is the limitation of pleasure seeking activities. The next one is it is engagement. I think in yesterday's live, I mentioned about flow kind of activity, right? Where there is enough activity and also enough learning. Engagement is instead of consuming, you are creating something. You are involved in some deep work. New Cartpont's the new book, The Deep Work, right? Where it says about we enjoy maximum, especially professionals, we enjoy solving problems, solving puzzles. And when this engagement is involved, you get into a state of flow. So instead of watching movie, you're editing movie or you're creating movie, recording a podcast. That's why I'm insisting all of you to start creating some content just for fun, because instead of being a consumer, which is more passive, creating content and sharing is more active. So there is an engagement element also, right? Then the last part is meaning. There is a purpose and meaning behind some activities what you do. So Martin Seligman, he shares an example that many years back when he was teaching in an university, he conducted an experiment about the amount of happiness what students get. At the beginning of the semester, he took all the students. He came to the class and said, "Guys, today there is no class, but we are going to the nearby mall and we are watching a movie." So everyone went, and the ticket was bought, and they all enjoyed the movie. And they had to return after that experiment, and everyone has to, on a scale of 1 to 10, they have to write how much enjoyment, how much happiness they got out of watching this movie. So everybody got some rating. Some scored high, some scored low, but all the data was collected. Then after a few months, in the middle of the semester, what professor did was, this again one day he said, this is another experiment. Today we are not having a class, but we are going to the nearby community school where there are destitute children are studying, and maybe we'll go with them, we'll play with them, and also we teach them and engage in some activities. So all the students go and they spend time with the kids the whole afternoon. It is an amazing experience for all of them, and they again come back to the class just to report, consolidate, share their learnings. And also he collects the level of happiness on a scale of 1 to 10. Then at the end of the semester, he tabulates all the scores from the experiment 1 and experiment 2, and he asks the participant, do you remember these two experiments, and do you now what how much you score for that activities on a scale of 1 to 10? And in fact, the most of the class, some of them already forgotten that they even went to a movie, and half of them could not even recollect which movie it was and all that. But each and everyone remembered the visit to the community college, where they spent that afternoon with these underprivileged kids and teaching them and playing with them. And he asked them to rate both what is the level of happiness. The second one scores very high. The point I wanted to share was, whenever there is a meaningful activity which is contribution or making a difference in other people's life, those activities also give happiness, and that is long lasting. So just to summarize in today's talk about happiness, happiness has three components. One is pleasure seeking, which has a limitation that it becomes addictive, and over a period, the more you do, the less happiness you get. Second is engagement, which is like involving in some deep work, which is in a state of flow. So you are doing some creative activities. So instead of watching YouTube, maybe you can start creating something. So right now, what I'm doing is more like an engagement, but also there's a meaning for me. And the third one is, wherever there is a meaning involved, there's a deeper purpose, then that gives you a context, or it gives a deeper sense of fulfillment and happiness, and which is long lasting. So this is a brief about happiness. I'm Rags. I'm a mindfulness coach based out of London. If you have any questions, any comments, or if you want me to speak about any other topics, put that in the comments. And I'll be really happy if you can subscribe to my channel and share this content with others. Thank you.